Normally here I give some pretty traditional, tried and true career advice, but today we are going the polar opposite and I am giving you my craziest, think outside the box, be brave, try something a little different career advice. So let's get to it. Now, if this is somehow your first time meeting me, my name is Cassandra and I help motivated professionals build their careers and businesses through practical tips to gain career confidence. And today we are talking about the craziest advice I have for you, along with some story time. Yes, that traditional YouTube story time. I never do those, but today we are. First craziest advice. I want you to take improv. Now, when this video is coming out, some of you might still be in a quarantine time. You can't really go out and do improv, but just know in the future, I want you to take an improv class. Sign up at a community college. If you're in a big city where there's a second city or UCB, New York, Chicago, LA, I do recommend signing up for one of their classes. Are they expensive? Yes. Are they life-changing? Yes. Here's why I think you need improv. Improv is getting used to the idea of expecting the unexpected, of not knowing what's coming next. And in our worlds where we control so much, we are not used to that anymore. And I think this is partly why job interviews are so terrifying. You don't know what they're gonna ask. And I don't think we realize how much of our day we know exactly what's coming. And to then go into a job interview where you don't know throws you off so badly. So improv gets you used to that idea. Like, it gets you into a space where you realize, oh, I can handle that. I'm not going to know what's going to come next. It also teaches you to deal with failure. When you do an improv class, you will mess up. You will panic. You will not do things well. You will not be funny. And you'll watch everyone not laugh and then move right along. It just makes you quite fearless in a way. Y'all, I tell everybody to take improv. Like, I haven't done on this channel, but if you met with me in person, I've talked about it on podcasts when I've been a guest before. I've talked about it on panels. I think everyone should take improv in their life. Like, second to wanting you to know Jesus as your savior, you need to take improv, okay? Jesus first, improv second. That's how important I think it is. It just did so many things to change my life. And y'all, I didn't become a performer. I didn't take more than 2 levels of classes, but it was enough to teach me these great skills. I watched myself become braver. I watched myself try things I wouldn't have tried before. I watched myself fail at things and go, all right, like the world doesn't end. And I think it helps so much for your career. You will become braver and apply for that job you never thought you'd apply to. You will go into that interview and give some answers that you weren't prepared for and go, you know, I did the best I could. We'll see how it goes. Instead of berating yourself afterwards for not being perfect. It just teaches you to open up in totally different ways. So I want everyone to sign up for some sort of improv class. Okay. Number 2, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I highly believe proximity matters. What does this mean? It means if you want to work in film, you need to be in a city where film happens and be working in places where you will meet people in your industry. That means that we do not just hole up in our houses all the time. I remember a billion years ago, back when the Oprah show was still on, I believe it was Dr. Phil who was like, if you want to get married and meet someone, you need to get outside your house unless you're going to marry the FedEx guy, right? Same thing. If you want to work in the film industry, if you want to work in tech, you need to be hanging out in the areas where you will meet people. So once again, I know right now this one might be a little hard, but you can still be in online groups with people in your industry. You can still, depending on your city, go to a coffee shop that's at the bottom floor of the building that houses the major finance companies that you're dreaming of working for. Whatever it is, try and find a way to be in proximity. When I lived in LA, I would go to the same Starbucks every day to work. And there were screenwriters that would go there every day. And they would all chat with each other. And I just kind of saw, like, this helps. Like, they get ideas from each other. They kind of have a network. Proximity matters. Another story of this. A friend and I were out to dinner, and she was telling me how she didn't have a next job lined up in production. She was like, yeah, I don't have anything left. I'm looking for a new PA job. And we were in North Hollywood. We're walking down the street, and outside a dance studio is set up one of these tents, these like card tents that get set up that say, you know, you are being filmed when you walk by here. It's a clearance thing. So clearly something's filming in that studio. And I jokingly looked at her and said, well, they're filming. See if they need a PA. And we kept walking. And like 30 feet later, we hear, excuse me. We turn around. This guy goes, did somebody say they can PA? Because we actually are looking for a PA. What? So it does happen. I can't say it's definitely going to happen. But remember, if you want to get married, don't be in your house unless you're marrying the FedEx guy. If you want a job in certain areas, your chances of working in that area are going to go up exponentially when you're in proximity. So try and get in proximity of the companies and types of people you want to work with. And again, if we can't do that because we're in a place that's quarantined still or under some sort of advisement of staying at home, go in online groups, find them on Facebook, on LinkedIn, find their association and see who you can network with and comment and share and like online to be in virtual proximity to. Okay, so speaking of proximity, I think you need to drive Uber, Lyft, or Postmates something. This is a key one. If you drive Uber and you want to work in film and you live in the LA area, why are you not going to Hollywood or going in like the Burbank studio area and just using that as your Uber area? You can Uber anywhere, so why not Uber in a place that's strong proximity to the people you want to work with? So I have told people this for years. I had a student that I saw on his resume drives for Uber, and I said, you want to work in film? Are you going up to LA to Uber? And he said, no, because we're in Orange County. And I said, why aren't you driving up there? You can do Uber anywhere. Why not take the 40 minutes to go up to Hollywood and then Uber in that area? He did. He came back to me and said, thanks for that tip. I picked up a producer, got talking with him. He gave me a PA job. From there, I went and did a bunch of other PA jobs. I can barely finish doing my qualifications for graduation because I'm getting so much work. Okay? So this is taking the proximity thing to the next level. But if you have the opportunity to be a driver for Lyft or Uber, I highly suggest doing it and then doing it in an area where in the proximity of the people who you can come in contact with and talk to who work where you want to work. Start building that network. And then lastly, I want you to be willing to talk to anyone. One of my favorite phrases is, or quotes, although no one knows who said it, is one hello can lead to a million things. We do not know where our next job is coming from, but if you're willing to talk to anybody, you are creating the opportunity for job opportunities every time you open your mouth. So every time you say hello, every time you comment on something, you are creating an opportunity for someone to open up to you and to start a dialogue for them to offer you a job. I know this sounds crazy. It's not. Last story. This was quite a few years ago, but back when I lived in LA, a friend and I decided we wanted to go to the Four Seasons for Oscar Sunday brunch. So in LA, the Oscars, the Academy Awards are a huge deal, and there's parties all week, and there's just kind of a different energy to the city, especially if you work in entertainment. But it was always rumored that everybody eats brunch at the Four Seasons Hotel on Oscar Sunday. We decided, yes, this one time we are going to go gangbusters and spend the crazy amounts of money to go eat brunch at the Four Seasons. So we get there. Fun fact, I did see Colin Firth eating with Tommy Lee Jones at breakfast before he won for the King's Speech. So I do like to say that Colin Firth and I had brunch before he won his Academy Award, but you all didn't need to know that we were at very different tables. So anyway, check, we saw our celebrities. But my friend and I sit down for brunch, and we're enjoying ourselves, and we see these people at the table kind of kitty corner to us, and we just can't quite figure out how these people go together. Like, normally you can tell like, oh, that's a business thing, or oh, that's a family eating, or that's friends gathering. We couldn't figure it out. Were they friends? Were they family? They all were dressed different. They didn't look related. It was interesting to us. They caught our attention. And so we were kind of like, I wonder who these people are. They're just interesting. And then the woman got this drink that did not make sense for a Four Seasons brunch. It wasn't a mimosa. It wasn't a Bloody Mary. I still remember it came in some sort of like pina colada glass with like half a pineapple, and I swear a tropical flower coming out the side. And I love a cocktail, and I had to know what the heck she was drinking. So I finally just it came to the table and it drew everyone's attention. And I looked at her and went, oh my gosh, I just have to know, what is that? And so she started talking to me about the drink. And my friend, male friend, he dresses wonderfully. Yeah, he's one of those people who knows how to like do the mixing and matching of patterns, and it all comes together. He's got on this great suit. The two men at their table, since I have opened up to the women, they now see the opportunity to go, hey, we just got to ask, we were looking at your suit. Where is your suit from? That's a gorgeous suit. And they start, they're like, oh, the way you put that together, it all looks great. We all start talking. Long story short, we end up moving over to their table. They buy us champagne. Business cards are exchanged, job offers are made, right? We ended up learning about how they all knew each other, what their businesses were. We bonded over stories of going to Miami and travel and all these different things. But it all started because I just asked a woman what she was drinking. Did I know when I asked, hey, what are you drinking? It would lead to all that? Heck no. But if you say nothing, there is no opportunity to move the conversation anywhere else to get that job opportunity. So don't be afraid to talk to people. Talk to anyone and everyone. Now, I'm not saying go give out all your personal information. Be smart about what you share with strangers, but don't be afraid to open up and just ask a question and see where that conversation leads. And because you took the improv, you'll be much more brave to do it. Those are some of my craziest pieces of career advice. Let me know which one you would try. I'm a little nervous about this video. I'm afraid some of you are gonna roll your eyes, but those of you who are brave enough to go out on a limb and try these things, I promise you they can get you a job faster. So try one today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.